Bitcoin gave a massive fake out this morning. We thought we were so back, man. We are so still stuck in the trenches, folks. But gives us a good opportunity to stack some of our favorite altcoins. We have RFK potentially dropping out of the race, and who is he going to line up with? Who is RFK going to become an ally of in this presidential race? We're going to be looking at that and some of our favorite altcoins, but one in particular, Solana, coming under major attacks from the SEC. Just as we thought we had escaped the bad times, folks. We got some more work to do, some more fighting on crypto legislation to happen. We got Isaac up on the sticks. Isaac, how
As
you doing,
always,
dude?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Drew?
I'm killing it, you know, and you're killing it with me, man. You're doing all the stuff. He's in there able to respond. I can't respond to you guys as fast as he can. Appreciate you, Isaac. And then we got
thank you.
Jeremy joining me on the show. What is up, my man?
Hey, how's it going? Great to be here. You know, always a pleasure whenever you have me on the show. I'm feeling good. I just bought some On Clouds.
Okay, On Clouds. Is that like a fancy shoe or something?
Yeah, people were telling me that I needed to have shoes that were like whiter culturally. So
okay.
So
you needed to appropriate to your skin color.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Okay. Wow. I like the shirt color. It's very, you know, I like men that are willing to wear pink. Shows a little bit of a high T. Like it's almost like your T levels have increased every day that I've met you.
Interesting.
I mean? Yeah, I really feel that way.
Well, I am working out with you guys later today, so you know, and it's linen, so you know, natural fibers is like a big. For some reason, I think that's healthy and good.
Well, dude, I mean, we love we have a partner, affiliate partner, Nads.
Yeah.
And that's all natural underwear. You know what I mean? It protects your nads. And then my wife runs a sustainable clothing production shop.
Right.
So, you know, we try to turn trash into one other's treasure. Now, we got a lot of stuff to cover here today. We're cooking along. Follow me at Druth Crypto on Twitter. You can find all my updates. I did share, you know, I was feeling a little bit feisty last night sharing Nathan Hale's comments back in 1776 time frame. I only regret that I have but one life to lose for my country. But I also gave a in-depth look at everything that I'm holding right now. Beyond all the stuff I remain bullish on and things that I've been watching that I need to add to this bag. If you follow me, you can find everything that I'm holding currently. I went through and cleaned everything up. Got it concise for all the viewers out there. On YouTube, 60,400 subscribers.
We're cooking.
We're cooking right along, baby. Cooking right along. Cooking with gasoline. Even when the attention is down for crypto, it feels good. It's all because of your guys' support. And, you know, really, if you want to go to the next level of support for this channel, become a member. But beyond becoming a member, you can go to basement.supplies and go to the Knowledge Center and join the Black Site. This is where you get access to videos such as this, where we highlight all of the receipts of all the funding of the Summer of Love 2.0 that is to come. You want to get that inside info? I can't really talk about it on the public platform. You have to join the Black Site, and that is where you can not only support the channel in a huge, huge way, but it's also kind of my sounding board where we can get some of the most dangerous information out to the public before things get weird. But on Bitcoin's price action today, it's been a little bit weird. A lot of people were hoping and dreaming that we were going to be able to break out of this massive kind of triangle pattern that we've been stuck in here for a minute. But I'm lucky enough to have one of the best in the business for technical analysis, the man from the north, the Canadian that knows where we're going here. I want to bring up PIANOMATTYB because I need to know what the hell's going on in the markets. PIANOMATTYB, how you doing, my man?
Unbelievable. It's summer out here in Canada still. We're living it up. How's everything down in Georgia?
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. The garden's killing it. I did have to revamp one of the gardens and clear out a bunch of weeds. I'm going to replant it with some later in the season stuff. Maybe some kale, you know, things that can handle kind of the winterish session for you know, growing season. So I'm having to do a lot of work in the garden, but it's going good. I found a couple tanks that I might buy.
Where do you find tanks? Are you just in the classified ads, or where do you find tanks?
Bring a Trailer is a great resource, bringatrailer.com. And then there are a couple Humvee type vehicles available around my local area. So it's kind of a mixed bag. I shop locally, but I also look at I look at bringatrailer.com as well. But man, Matty B, today's price action, pretty exciting on the upside and downside. Already this morning, it's been toiling with people's emotions. I saw we punched up to like, what was it, $61,349, but now it's completely back down under $60,000 again. It even made it into the higher 58s. For a quick moment, we just got this huge clip of selling. I am admittedly in a scalp long position right now. Okay, I got a tight stop loss, but basically, you know, I'm in and out, tight stop loss. I'm looking for a little bit of a bounce here, but maybe I'm making all the wrong choices. Matty B, what are you seeing on the charts, brother? How are you feeling about the price action?
Well, the way I feel about the price action is the way I feel about where we are in the cycle right now. We're just in the doldruminous summer, right? So we're going to just bump our head, stub our toe, bump our head, stub our toe until finally we break out. But I've always been a stop hunter conspiracy theorist from my trading currency days. I just saw too many stop losses get wicked out to like it can't happen every single time. And so now I just basically my consensus on exchanges is that if you think about it, you know, let's take Binance. Binance, arguably maybe the biggest exchange out there. They're not going to let this price action get away on them if they've got 100x leveraged longs down at, say, I don't know, 43K, right? Can you imagine the exponential loss on their books carrying a 100x leverage long into the bull run?
Right.
So I really feel like outside of the macro aspect and the global liquidity, of course, you know, if we had a perfect storm where whales came in, institutional buying, and they had no other alternative but to let the price run, well, they're going to have to probably do something slightly more dark or nefarious to these 100x leverage longs. But that's why when I say 43K, we go to the daily chart here, you can see it's old Mr. Clean's head and shoulders pattern here.
My God.
Which unfortunately has been playing out to a T. And I remember thinking once we hit this little spike here, I'm like, oh man, I wrote this little doohickey. I hope we don't do this because this will bring in the right shoulder of old Mr. Clean, and there he is. And so what you got to keep your eye on in my books is this, you can't really see it here, but it's a 78.6% fib down at 56.6. Now, we're pretty far away from it, you know, $3,000. It's what is that, 3% dip from here? Like in this doldruminous summer, that is basically quite a swing for a non-day, right? But we'd get excited. We were excited yesterday about the pump when it really wasn't that spectacular. But this little head and shoulders pattern actually plays out to 43K because you would just take, if I go down here, you take the pole, you slide it all to the breakout point, and then we're all at 43K essentially. So that's what I'm thinking. When I say 43K, I think that there's exponential leverage longs down there that these exchanges need to wick out. Now, we won't spend a lot of time on 43K. It'll just be one of those. Imagine you're sitting there, Drew, yourself, sitting there with 100x at 43K. You just got super lucky. You're like, this is it. I'm a millionaire.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a gazillionaire in about 9 months. And Binance is going,
not so quick.
I don't think so. We see it all the time. All these, what are they called? Scam wicks? Zoink.
Yep.
Exchanges just go and they zap your leverage out, right? So be careful. That's why I say, you know, if you're going to trade, you definitely shouldn't put that much leverage on or else you'll get zoinked.
And it does feel like you put a target on your back. When the higher leverage, the bigger the target on your back. And, you know, really trading, it's just, it's something that, you know, I got to do for myself during the doldrums, you know what I mean? Just to be cooking forward and get more money for DCA. But by God, if I've heard from a few very good TA folks talking about these levels in the 40s, what a buying opportunity that would be. Now, are you still DCA in this market right now, or are you kind of hanging out and waiting for that big pullback to come?
I kind of changed up my buying habits this bull market. I developed these packages of gauche. You know, I would spend months putting this money together and wait. And, you know, because we're doing this every day on your channel and my channel, I'm always watching the market. So I have a really good feel when I feel like we've stalled out and this could be the next leg up. Now, like bearing in mind, let's say I had a package that I was waiting to deliver at say 52K.
Yeah.
When it gets to 52K, you start ho-humming and start thinking, well, you know, I heard PIANOMATTYB said 43K, maybe I'll wait, right? At the end of the day, you got to pick that entry point and stick to it, because let's say you get in at 52 and immediately dumps to 43. Well, like I said before, it's not going to be long at 43, and then it'll come back up. And by the time it's at 90, you won't even remember or care whether it was 52 or 43. You just got in before it took off, because one of these days it's going to take off and no one's going to be able to catch it. It's going to leave most people behind.
Absolutely. That's something good to keep in mind. And on the time frame, like I follow time frames. I don't DCA consistently. I basically seasonally DCA. Do you, on the Bitcoin dominant side, I don't know if you've been following that, but I mean, are we going to see kind of a repeat of past bull markets, the second and third halving, where Bitcoin dominance held that strength above and beyond all the other altcoins for about 220 days post halving? Or could that be extended because these ETFs are now at play and we see BlackRock and all these gargantuan organizations not letting their foot off the gas when it comes to buying the Bitcoin up, even in the dole?
Well, I've been trying to reconcile with this thought that is Bitcoin dominance up, or is just ETH just having the worst bull market ever, right?
Oh.
Is Bitcoin up that much, or is just ETH down?
That's
right?
a hot take. That's a hot take right there.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, gas went down to like 4 cents. I mean, the network activity, and it's almost like they shot themselves in the foot with all these layer twos, all these other little off ramps and things like that. It took some of the direct usage pressure off of Ethereum, but then the ecosystem itself is growing out wider. Very, very interesting to keep in mind there. Now,
I have something scary to show you.
Yeah, I mean, let's see it.
And I said last time, I'm done with the bearish coming on your show with all this bearish.
I want the sauce. I want to know what to look out for here.
On Monday when I woke up to do the production video, there was just nothing going on in the market, really. We just had nothing going on. And then I went to the weekly chart and something kind of jumped out at me. So I wanted to show you what jumped out. Over on the weekly chart, you can see this 20-week moving average in red has curled bearish. And you may ask, PIANOMATTYB, the 20 moving average, she turns bearish all the time. It's a noisy little so-and-so, isn't she? Well, yes, on the lower time frames like the 4-hour and the daily, it is quite normal for the 20 moving average to go bearish from time to time. But this is the first time since we started trending up back in January 2023, save for this slight downward action in August 2023, basically a year ago. But that's barely noticeable, really. But the last time we saw the 20 moving average peak and curl down this much was way back in December 2021, which was the beginning. The bear market. Now, I'm not saying that this is a signal. The bull market is over per se. I'm just comparing apples to apples because it's what we do here. Now, some explosive moves to the upside for a solid month will curl this bad girl up again. And luckily for us, Drew, we have September rolling in, which is, oh, snap, the worst month historically speaking for Bitcoin.
My God.
So I suppose we may have to wait for October to see this bad little bearish so-and-so curl back up. Until then, buckle up.
Man.
Gal, she always laughs at my jokes, even though she's heard them a million times.
You have to, I mean, I know that I'm overly bullish on the market that we're in, but what you're highlighting there is something very serious to keep in mind. And really,
me too. I'm bullish. I'm just as bullish as you. But like when these things pop up, I mean, you gotta give a little bit of credence to some historical patterns that repeat.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. And you know,
look
it's
how
like,
noisy this is.
No,
1 second.
You got all the movements on there, and really like watching out for these buy levels. It also helps me keep in mind to keep some dry powder on the sidelines, you know, just in case that does roll over. Now, when I'm looking at the overall market, like price wise, we accomplished this all-time high and beyond before the halving, but now we're getting the chop that we deserve. Now, within this year, I know we got the election coming up. Do you think that election is gonna give enough catalyst for us to breach that $80,000 level for Bitcoin's price in particular, or do you think it's gonna kind of be trapped within this previous all-time high of about 72 until 2025 rolls around?
I do think that the market is going to respond to the election no matter what. So in my mind, in the illusion of democracy, they'll just install whoever. So it doesn't really matter. It's the installation and the rebirth of whatever. It could be the same brain dead party as last time, or it can be a new one, but it's going to bring in excitement and the markets will rally. But I mean, at the end of the day, we know the people are just puppets. They're just going to install whoever they want. That's why when you're watching some of these candidates try to put words together, you're like, how can this actually be a presidential candidate? And the reason is because it doesn't matter. They're just the puppets, right?
That's a good point.
No real legitimate person would run for president when they behave that way or they're that dumb.
Right. Yeah, it's a scary time to be alive. And really, with that potential, I mean, I was feeling a little froggy last night. I was sharing thoughts from our founding fathers here in the United States because it does feel highly captured. And I'm at the point where, I've been in great shape. I've been putting myself continuously in great shape, seeing this 20-headed hydra of tyranny waking up and looking to fully capture human society. And really, it's at a point where, honestly, let's light this candle. Try to come take them. You know what I mean? Like, I'm tired of their positioning and their scare tactics on the television. It no longer affects me because I've gotten to the point where we've been ostracized and told that we are the greatest threat to the United States for nearly a decade now. So
yeah, how can that possibly be?
Yeah,
how can that possibly be?
It's so crazy, man. And especially for someone like me, I'm just a dad with 4 beautiful kids, beautiful wife, and I don't even have a speeding ticket in my background. But be labeled as one of the biggest problems facing America right now for a decade in a row, that puts you in a certain kind of mindset. So I got 17.
I love it. Personally, it motivates me, especially as a dad too. It's like, I'm the worst type of person in this society. Oh, okay, well, I'll just keep on trucking, doing my best. Yeah. And I'm sure by example, things will change.
100%, man. And with Bitcoin and this power that it does offer, to get out of the financial sector, I think we have a pretty special point in human history where, we got the invention of the pen where we could transcribe information. We got the invention of gunpowder where we could then transcribe military superiority without having to use swords and knives. Now I'm looking at the potential to transcribe monetary value over a digital platform. I'm feeling like this is one of those big, big moments for humanity. And it's just about waking up every day, getting online and doing our best to wake people up before it's too late and all of the opportunity is gone. So for that, I commend you for going live every single day. And I know you're out there every day. Where can people find you? If anyone already doesn't follow you in the chat, when are you going live and where can the folks find you to get all your awesome TA?
Zachary Martin asks, how many steaks did you eat this morning, Matty B? Well, funny you ask. I have a nice juicy ribeye upstairs, just getting to room temperature that I'm going to barbecue pretty soon. I go live 8 a.m. on my YouTube channel and Rumble and X. I do the production video with the TA and the technical analysis, and then we go have a little talk after that till about 8:30. And Friday, you're coming on my show, isn't that right?
Yes, sir. True? I got a kick. I've started to use Google Calendar. So I have everything laid out that every day. I'm getting real official here because, I got to keep everything straight with how much is going on. The channel's growing like crazy. And we have a lot of really exciting things coming up. So, I had to finally use Google Calendar. I'm getting more professional about it. And it feels good, man. Feels good. Well, nice. PIANOMATTYB, I'm excited to join you Friday. Hopefully we see this price action not send us into a doom cloud, but at least you told us it was coming. If we do, thanks for keeping our head on a swivel, brother. I appreciate it.
Anytime. Thank you for having me on your show. Have a great day, everybody in the chat.
Man, he's making me hungry for steaks.
Yeah, for real.
I had a steak for breakfast, and he literally made me more like I want another steak.
I haven't had a steak in a long time, but that was a great interview from PIANOMATTYB.
Bro, you gotta eat more steak, man.
I'm dating a vegan, and a lot of the times we eat the same thing together. I get a lot more protein now because I get it through, supplements and other sources, and I'm a lot more careful about it because I don't eat as much meat.
Okay. Steak is so good for you. I had steak and avocado. every day this week, and like I feel amazing from it. Man, despite all of the potentials there on Bitcoin here, this trade up by 12% now. So we'll see here. I might move. God, I'll let it. I don't want to get wicked. I'll just let it be, let it simmer. We're cooking alive. We're moving it on Blowfin. If you guys are out there trading, we got a link for Blowfin down in the description. Support the channel. Use our referral code and link. And here's just a highlight on Bitcoin dominance real quick before we get into all of the news. Here we go. A little bit of red on the last 2 weeks. So this is our current weekly candle for Bitcoin dominance. Not much movement at all. Pretty stagnant, but is in the red. And this is last week. It did give up a little bit of strength. So interesting stuff to see. Now let's check out all of the other news here. But this is a wholesome video. I need to share this video right now because this, I really have a baseline of treating our neighbors good. I want everyone that watches this channel to try and reach out to your local community and be a good neighbor. Listen to this neighbor.
Hi, Jay. Here's a little treat for you.
All right, on. You just make them, or
Just made them yesterday.
All right,
Just got them out of the smoker today.
Cool.
Yeah, by God, it's got a little cheese to it. Cook one up when you're watching football. That's my
I'm
homie.
going up right now. I haven't eaten supper yet. I cleaned my entryway out. It was a disaster.
Yeah, if you haven't had supper, well, that'd be a treat for you. You know, I just made them Sunday, and I've got them smoked today, and you're gonna get some. I got some sticks over in the freezer for you, and some summer slices too, buddy. Cook up a few of them for you and the boy, and have a nice meal. And you know, I got about 100 pounds in the car, so let me know when them are gone. I'll fix you some more. And I want to tell you thank you for being such a beautiful neighbor. God bless you.
I'm gonna tear up, man. He's making tear up right there.
A gift of meat to your neighbors. Yeah, I mean, it's great.
That's good community, though. He's like acknowledging you keep your area nice, you turned it around, you cleaned up your front yard, you're being a reasonable neighbor to me. Here's a bunch of meat. Yeah, I almost cried over smoked meat. Okay, like I love barbecue food. I love food that is all natural. The guy's sitting there putting sausages together himself.
Great.
What a guy. Absolutely love it. So just try to reach out to your neighbors, even if they are on the other side of this political chaotic spectrum that we're on right now. You guys, community is everything. Here's Marty Party highlighting BlackRock's IBIT versus MicroStrategy's Bitcoin holdings. And something that very interesting to me on this graph to note is you have MicroStrategy in the red, just King Kuglas. Move my face out of the way so they can see this at the beginning here. MicroStrategy, obviously, absolute savage, buying into the bear market, continuing into the bear market of Bitcoin. No F's given. Really has risen to one of the largest Bitcoin wallets. Then all of a sudden, BlackRock comes along. Look at the velocity that BlackRock came out swinging with. This is one of the world's largest fund managers, and seeing the velocity of BlackRock's gobbling up of all of the Bitcoin on the planet, looks like MicroStrategy is trying to match that velocity now. We have billionaires and trillion-dollar companies fighting and racing to get to the top of the Bitcoin holder wallets. And this is a race that only us here in the basement really truly win, because we front run all of these organizations, and it feels damn good to be feeling like that, really changing the trajectory for my life, my family's life in a very positive manner, and getting ahead of all of these crazy, massive behemoths of the financial industry that are trying to take it all for themselves. Now we got this. The fact that Saylor has no heirs is insane to me. Michael Saylor has no one behind him that's going to inherit that. Like, is it just going to be the company MicroStrategy and like the second in command at MicroStrategy? You know what I mean?
What are we in the Middle Ages where we need heirs?
Well, I'm thinking about bringing it back. Okay. I'm thinking about maybe I could become the king of Paulding County should things get extra bad, right? And I would be a just king.
Yes,
probably. You know?
My blood still runs red, white, and blue, and we don't do kings here. Okay.
Well, you know what? Things have gotten weird. Things have gotten weird, Jeremy. So, yeah, interesting thing to think about, though. Who's second in command? Who's going to get that control of the MicroStrategy side? This from Bitcoin Magazine. 60% of the largest hedge funds have now disclosed Bitcoin ETF holdings. You have Citadel, Bridgewater, not yet. Millennium Management, yes. Mariner, Balyasny Asset Management, that's a big one. Renaissance Tech, all of these massive organizations are all reporting they're getting in. They can't keep up with the BlackRock buys, but they are going to be putting the pressure on them as well. And that velocity I just showed you on the MicroStrategy versus Bitcoin graph is going to get aggressive. And now we talk about the overall trajectory of Bitcoin's price in relevance to this race to the top from the largest managers on the planet. This is Bitcoin's price in US dollars 22 to 2025 projections. And in this green zone, you guys, we are essentially entering into the next few months into that moment where historically the bull market actually starts to begin. I know a lot of people are laughing, oh, the bull market had already begun. I mean, really, we're in accumulation zone. And honestly, I still feel like we're pretty much there. This is the year we accomplished this all-time high, all just because BlackRock started this race with those ETF applications being approved. And the reason why I feel like they got approved were because BlackRock had to pull off its ESG initiatives and its attack campaign against proof of work systems. 16 attorney generals went after BlackRock right around the same time frame, said, no, you're not going to use our own money to destroy our economies. BlackRock said, okay. Then they started moving into Bitcoin. And now look what we got. We've accomplished all-time highs before the halving. Now we're post-halving, just chopping around and finally having a fresh breath of fresh air to accumulate our favorite cryptos. It feels good, man. So we have this. This is given a trajectory. I want to know from the chat, you guys, do you think that it is tangible or accomplishable to hit a $280,000 Bitcoin? Like, Isaac, what do you think? Are you going to, you want to give me your prediction? Do you think Bitcoin's going to hit 280K this cycle?
This cycle, no.
Okay.
High 150, possibly 165. That's more reasonable to me. But 200K to 250K doesn't seem that viable this cycle.
Yeah, dude, hold on. Manawak, Manawak reminded me he's buying a whole hog.
Ooh.
Manawak, I'm gonna call you.
I might shoot it.
Yeah, I need to. Are you bringing any hog back, Isaac?
We might. It depends on the rules that we have at the spot we're going to hunt.
Okay.
But if I have the chance to bring a hog back, we will hang it up on the basement wall.
Okay. You better, if you get some, you better bring it back. Are you gonna eat the hog with us, Jeremy?
I mean, you know, yeah, sure. It's is it like a feral hog?
Well, it's cage free. I mean, maybe it's
True.
feral. You know, it lived its best life.
Feral hogs can be kind of gamey, but if you put it in a smoker, especially a below ground smoker, you know, obviously I'm Hispanic, so I know a lot about the below ground all day hog smokers. You can get those things nice and tender. Get a little bit of vinegar on there. Get some pulled pork.
Hell yeah, man. That's what I'm talking about. And on this graph, really, I feel like keeping it within reason. I feel like 200 to 215 is probably going to be a lot of pressure. I think that we'll probably, if we do experience that super cycle moment-ish, we're going to hear from influencers, you're going to $1 million this cycle. I don't think it's going to happen. I think that right around like 215, 210, we're going to get slapped around hard, and that will begin the next downturn into the bear market. And really, you know, from where we've been positioning, it's not so much where Bitcoin goes in particular. For me, it's where these new altcoin technology projects can actually accomplish in the overall bullish sentiment of a Bitcoin bull market, because Bitcoin is the leading indicator, and that creates a lot of liquidity, a lot of attention for crypto. But then people start looking down the list at some of the best technologies that are being developed around it, proof of stake systems, AI with its distributed GPU systems. I think that those are going to be massive, massive plays to make this cycle. Man, this trade is going really, really good. I'm gonna let her cook. I mean, let's let the chat decide. Chat, you're gonna decide, do I close this thing now? I already made like, what is this, 12%. It's a reasonable poll, $50 on it, on a, you know, it's only like a $400 entry or $350. Let me know. Should I close this or not? Should we let it ride? We'll see. I'll see what you guys.
+1 for close, +2 for open.
+1 for close and +2 for profits.
That's correct.
You want to just close it immediately, Jeremy?
Yeah, let's take profits. I just feel, you know, with the unpredictability on the next couple of days of Bitcoin, that it's a good time to take profits on that kind of thing.
Listen, you can't get lucky if you ain't at the fair, man. You know what I'm saying?
We just got lucky. We got our $50 and we'll put it in runes, put it in wizards.
Don't you bring logic into this. Okay. Don't bring logic into this. Now, also, speaking of non-logical macroeconomic information, The Fed is now having to confront up to 1 million U.S. jobs vanishing in a revision. Bureau of Labor and Statistics issued a preliminary benchmark employment revision Wednesday. Economists still view job growth as healthy, albeit moderating. They literally overcounted 1 million jobs into the decision making of the next. So we have a September Fed meeting coming up, and they were using a lot of the bullish jobs data that everyone's doing great and the economy is still moving forward. We can keep these rates up, right? No, you have 1 million jobs that were false, that were on your report that you're operating off of. U.S. job growth in the year through March was likely far less robust than initially estimated, which risks fueling concerns that the Federal Reserve is falling further behind the curve to lower interest rates. Goldman Sachs Group and Wells Fargo economists expect the government's preliminary benchmark revision on Wednesday to show payroll growth in the year through March was at least 600,000 jobs weaker than currently estimated. And this number is actually coming in right around 1 million now, while JP Morgan and Chase forecasters see a decline of about 360K. Goldman Sachs indicate it is indeed as large as 1 million. What a shit show. What in the hell? You know, like operating off of completely false data, selling the American public on the idea that the economy's going great. I don't know what you all are complaining about, even though you can barely afford to feed your family. What's the big deal? Oh, there, because it's all false information that we're operating on. Does this bother you, Jeremy?
You know, I've always found the metric of like job growth and job economy to be a little bit misleading, because you have an issue, especially with people around my age, where people are very underemployed. So if we did gain 1 million jobs, but it was all sort of like minimum wage or like fast food jobs, then you have like the majority of Americans with college degrees that don't get to use those. And I find that like really bad. So I've always been really suspicious about like Bureau of Labor statistics and things pointing towards job growth. I think honestly right now the biggest challenge with the economy is the difficulty of finding accurate information, because you have inflation rates that don't match the experiences that the American people are going through.
Yeah.
You have like a jobs chart that doesn't match the experience of what the average person is going through. You know, you have people in tech and software right now that are like burning to get jobs. You know?
Absolutely.
They're not hiring juniors. They're just hiring people with like 10 plus years experience, even in programs that have only been out for 4 years or whatever. So
And that hurts a lot, right? They got because 5 years ago, a software engineer job, that was like
really good. And
that's
now
what
it's
you're aiming
brutal
for.
trying to get a job.
Yes. How scary is that, right?
It's pretty bad. And so when I talk about Bureau of Labor statistics, even when they were like job growth is up, I was like, we need this to be a more. The American people are not stupid, so why is this a stupid statistic? If you tell somebody, hey, there are 1 million more jobs in the United States than there were yesterday, they're going to say what everyone's going to say. We're like, what kind of jobs? You know what I mean?
Well, and it's almost a double scam, too, because they took gas and food prices out of the equation when they account for inflation.
Yeah.
That's like the average person, that's what we are operating off of outside of like our housing cost is like housing, food, and gasoline to get to your job and go home at the end of the day. Like the average person is not out there with $1 million like handling these T-bills and things like that. It's just so aggravating to the average person. And I am very much so an average person. Bob from accounting asked me what's my setup on this. I'm using 15x and I went in with $350, and I'm going to play a little safe here now. Let's just push this little baby stop loss now into profit. You see, I had a stop loss very close to my initial entry, so I didn't lose too much if the trade did not go my way. And the reason my thought process looking at this was I was seeing higher lows on the price and lower lows on the MACD here. So, move my face out of the way a little bit. So lower lows on the MACD, higher lows on the price within the 15-minute. Looking good. This is my visible volume profile range. Essentially with that strong volume node right at the bottom. Felt good about it. Had a few different pieces of confluence, so I hopped in there. We'll see how she rolls, but if I die, I die. I actually won't die that bad, because now since I've changed the stop loss, let's see here. So if you change it, then I'm up by $11 regardless. So there you go. Now, moving on to the rest of the stories here. We got a lot of stuff to cover. Oh, wait, hold on. Before that, mid-roll.
God damn
The
it.
blockchain basement is powered by
Thanks.
Arculus. This is the world's leading crypto cold storage where you can easily secure,
Every time I hit the
buy,
fucking button,
swap, send,
it
and
just
receive all your
switches
crypto with a
back
simple
over here.
tap using 3-factor authentication to
have
make
a
sure to
hot
keep
mic, but I
your
don't have
assets
a
safer than ever. Make sure to support the channel. Use code BASE10 and click the link down in the description to get your hands on your security today.
Oh man, I'm pretty sure y'all had a hot mic for Isaac's move there, man. That was good. That was really good. You feel better now?
I feel a lot better.
Yeah.
Thanks for everybody who listened to that. I know I had a hot mic. I just let it rip. I just needed to get my frustration to this mid-roll button.
I was dying, bro. But yes, shout out to Arculus. I mean, a great channel partner, and I'm very thankful for having a channel partner that encourages becoming your own bank and empowering yourself. So go use Base10. If you don't already have an Arculus card, become your own bank, get your crypto off exchanges. There you go. So now we're talking about all this fake data and all of this lie that the US government and the Fed are selling the American people. But good news, before World War II, the average recession lasted 3 years. By the 1990s, it was 2 years. And by 2024, recessions only last about 47 minutes now. So that's really good news to hear, right? Because you can change the definition of a recession. You can basically print on God mode in the background and do BTFP. And also the yen carry trade situation apparently gets fixed overnight, even though it's a literal
blood
death
in the
spiral that an entire country's fiat is falling down into. That's great. So now this crazy. We're going to watch this. This is RFK's VP pick. I think it's Nicole Shanahan talking about potentially lining up with a new ally in the election this year.
What my gut tells me right now is that we just have to keep being honest. I gotta just keep being honest. I gotta keep focusing on what matters the most outside of party lines. I need to focus on a vision that goes beyond November. And if that means that we stay in, and there's benefits to staying in. If we get over 5% of the vote, we actually establish ourselves as a party. 71% of Americans want a strong third party with a real shot at winning. There's even public funds available if we get over 5% of the vote. So we could get, I think it's like $13.5 million in public funds to keep the party going. And that's, that's worth something. That means that we can position for a real third party election in 2028 where we don't have to go around and spend tens of millions of dollars on ballot access, which means that we can spend all of that time and money campaigning. So, there's two options that we're looking at, and one is staying in, forming that new party, but we run the risk of a Kamala Harris and Walt's presidency because we draw votes from Trump, or we draw somehow more votes from Trump, or we walk away right now and join forces with Donald Trump, and we walk away from that and we explain to our base why we're making this decision. Damn. Not easy.
Clearly.
Yeah, not an easy decision.
The faces of, this looks painful for her to have to say, don't you think?
The both of the people on camera certainly looked like they were in a lot of pain.
Yes.
This is interesting because I've seen on Twitter that RFK was thinking about going over to Kamala's side for a little bit. So I wonder where the truth lies between the VP and
he
the
tried to be the Democratic nominee to begin with, remember?
Yeah.
And they wouldn't even let him. They kicked him out immediately.
I think Robert Kennedy is more of a Democrat.
The JFK was a great Democrat.
Nominal Democrat.
RFK, he got kicked out, and I don't think that was ever really, because they wouldn't even give him Secret Service protection. You know what I mean? They were the ones that decided who got it. And also you have the Attorney General of New York locking him out of the election tentatively over his living location. I think that's actually playing into this potential decision from the RFK camp to join the Trump train. and hop on board. Now, it has been floated to give RFK positions within either the EPA or an attorney general spot, which would actually put him pretty high up on the Trump cabinet, essentially. You know what I mean? So it actually give him a pretty good piece of power. And RFK, if he was the Democratic choice, he would have been a very, very strong contender. Like, I would be worried about a honest selection process being lost to the Dems if RFK was the leading candidate for them. You know what I mean? But seeing this, I mean, those eyes tell it all. Look at this. Look at this. I mean, you could tell this guy. He's like, oh God damn it, really?
This guy is having a bad.
He's having a bad. He did not expect this. I don't feel like.
That's not a part of the script.
That was unscripted. So, and I really feel like what she's saying is pretty important. I think, you know, it's a very important election. I think it'd be very healthy in the long term to have a three-party setup. I keep telling this to people that were asking me to vote for RFK this time. I was like, I understand that he has a great approach. I just feel like the insane times that we're living in and how far down the average person is in their buying power from the experience of the last 4 years, it's not the time. There will be a time, but I just don't think it is right now. So we'll see what happens with that. Very, very interesting. I've been following RFK for years. I subscribed to his newsletter 15 years ago, and I support everything he does. But maybe we'll see that somewhere around the 2029. What would that? No, it'd be 2028 election, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Life is coming at me quick. I'm getting gray hairs.
I don't see him.
Talking about the next one, like, holy God, I'm getting old. I feel like I need to apply for Trump's security team. Dude, I would love that job. I would love that job.
I think you have to be Mormon to get on.
You don't have to be Mormon.
To get in the Secret Service, you have
no,
to be
I have
Mormon.
to be a DEI hire. I'll just identify as a meat popsicle. They'll let me in. And then I'll demand to be on Trump's team. You know what I mean? It's going to be great. Have you seen Fifth Element, Jeremy?
I have seen Fifth Element.
Yeah, he invented pronouns.
Great.
Yeah, he invented identifying his pronouns. He's a meat popsicle. You know, you're way ahead of his time. Now we're gonna talk about the rest of the chaos in the world. Elon Musk came out with this. I am willing to serve Department of Government Efficiency.
This is just meme, I think.
Doge, right? Now, but on the space with him and Trump, they floated the idea, and Elon was open to it, dude. Like, we might actually see if the orange one comes back. Imagine Elon just destroying all of these useless federal government jobs. Does that make you? Are you wanting? So right now, Jeremy, the reason why this is a hot button issue for me is because a lot of those jobs that they've been adding on to the already arbitrage data I was talking about earlier are federal government jobs, right? Mm-hmm. Do we really need another 90,000 IRS agents to keep beating down the average person?
IRS agent's a good job, you know, one that you have to go to college for. It pays pretty well.
Mm-hmm. But do we need 90,000 more of them to take people's money out of their hands by force?
If the people are like entities that fail audits routinely, right? Like if we can get a successful audit on the U.S. military or the
That's
U.S.
never going to
Congress,
happen.
then...
Never going to happen.
Okay, well, I'm saying if you want to bring in 90,000 people to deal with that, I'm all for it.
But they won't. That's the point, is they're not going to deal with the Pentagon and their trillions of dollars in missing money.
Right.
They're going to deal with me and you. They're going to deal with the people on the bottom. Remember the PayPal deal? You pay $600, you got to pay taxes now. Now, they're not building this army of IRS agents to go after Goldman Sachs or to go after Wells Fargo for those falsified loans that Wells Fargo was found guilty of time and time again. They're coming after me and you. Those large companies and those corporations have aggregated systems that they put in their information into, and it gets automatically aggregated. These new federal agents, along with the rest of these bloated agencies, are really dragging down the American public in the form of our deficit continually spiraling out of control. And then we just keep adding on more and more of these government agents. And for instance, the tornadoes that hit, I think they hit Louisiana. There was just a bunch of bad tornadoes a few years ago. I had a buddy of mine go down there. He was actually helping people get trees off of their houses and giving first aid, you know, all of this type of service to the public. And he was looking around, where's FEMA, right? Where's FEMA in this whole situation? He saw how many FEMA agents do you think you saw?
2.
Okay, you saw my fingers. Okay, he saw 2 FEMA agents that were sitting there on the side of the road with a little check mark, and they're just checking. Just as a car would drive by, they'd put a little tick on this piece of paper, and that was their job. Meanwhile, actual people, Americans that cared about each other, were showing up with trailers full of food. They were showing up with chainsaws. They were showing up with backhoes, and they were actually clearing the area much more effectively than the agents, and FEMA continues to hire. I see them on LinkedIn. They're just begging for people to come in. And so this is something I think is important for us. You know what I mean? It's like, and this is the whole argument. Can a government provide the safety for us, or is it the actual people?
It's going to have to be government. We're in a society that has 300 million people in it. Although I am always a big champion of find out what's going on in your local elections. If you want a third party to ever be successful in the U.S., you have to, at the local level, start implementing ranked choice voting. Those types of things are the peaceful way forward, So
Well, and I like the local approach too. I feel like I'm going to be getting involved locally. Of course, my district is Marjorie Taylor Greene's area, so
great.
It's fantastic. I absolutely love it. So there's a lot of arbitrage when it comes to that, and seeing RFK consider this makes me feel good. Now, this makes me feel terrible. The SEC is talking with ETF issuers over concerns of a Solana token being a security, preceded by the CBOE removing 19B and the 4S, sources say. So let's look into this. This came out this morning. U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission had talks with prospective Solana issuers of the ETF about its concerns over a potential status as a security ahead of the removing of these related filings, according to a source familiar with the situation. Following the discussion, the SEC rejected the 19B forms. According to a different source, as a result, they were removed from the exchange's website and not filed to the federal registrar, which would have started to clock the approval process. That's a big note on expecting an approval, is seeing these registrations come in an official manner. This Solana official filing was stopped after this news, so there is some teeth to this news. As noticed over the weekend, 19B filings, which are filed by exchanges on behalf of user issuers, no longer show the CBOE website. They are not currently on the Federal Register. VanEck's S1 registration statement for Solana ETF still shows on the EDGAR, the SEC's filing system, and the filing for 21 shares S1 registration statement no longer appears in search results, but the direct link still works. And it looks like I did see VanEck is leaning into this. It's from Marty Party, highlighting comments from VanEck on the situation right now. For the record, VanEck believes Solana is a commodity much like Bitcoin and Ethereum. This belief is informed by evolving legal perspectives, where courts and regulators have begun to recognize that certain crypto assets may function as securities in primary markets, but behave more like commodities in secondary markets. This is a very important note. They behave more like commodities once they hit the second market. Also, over the past year, Solana has made a substantial progress in decentralization. The top 100 holders now control approximately 27% of the supply, a significant reduction from a year ago. And moreover, the top 10 addresses now hold less than 9%. With over 1,500 validators across 41 countries, operating in more than 300 distinct data centers, Solana boasts a Nakamoto coefficient of 18, surpassing most networks they monitor. The upcoming FireDancer client will further bolster decentralization, ensuring no single entity can dominate the blockchain. This decentralization infrastructure, combined with Sol's utility and economic role, aligns it closely with digital commodities like Bitcoin and Ethereum. We remain committed to advocating this position alongside our exchange partners to the appropriate regulators. Saying some very interesting stuff there. Basically talking about Solana has become this cat in an open prairie that's becoming now decentralized enough to be considered a commodity. And really, they're looking at the control aspect and controlling these crypto projects as securities on the front end, on the primary markets, not so much in the secondary markets. And that is something that was very good of Ripple to do in this massive battle against the SEC, is they were the first to put the stamp down on XRP, the token, that it was not a security in the secondary market. That was a very, very big step for crypto at large. And for that, I do thank Ripple and XRP holder. I was holding XRP before the lawsuit happened. I went through all the pain with everyone. Yes, I may have gotten out of XRP at 70 cents. And now I'm sitting here watching everyone just waiting for this massive moon bag thing to happen for them. I don't think that's coming for you. I think XRP's top is going to be somewhere around $2 if we're lucky. But that being said, XRP and Ripple fought very hard against the SEC to get that stance of secondary markets not being securities. And for that, we tip our hats to them. So very interesting times for Solana. And on the altcoin side in general, the liquidity for altcoins, when moon from my altcoin bags, right? We have a new day. This is from DeFi Investor, new all-time high for the total stablecoin market cap. This is important to note because the price been doing pretty good. Where's my trade at here? We got to check back in on this. Still looking good. And what was the decision, Isaac? How many ones? How many twos?
It looked pretty equal. It was pretty much even.
Hold, I thought.
All right,
There's
we're
two.
just
There,
holding.
yeah. It was
We're
kind of
just-
split in the middle. So we'll at the end of the stream we'll run it back and let's see if we
We'll run it
close
back. We'll see where
or
it
not.
goes. We're doing pretty good though. I have $50 on it now, 13.8%. Nice, not bad. And if I can make 13% a day on a bag, not bad.
That's,
right?
that's real good.
That's not bad at all. So we're seeing the stablecoin supply hit all-time highs, while Bitcoin's price is not falling off a cliff. This is important to note because when you do see stablecoin supply increases as the price is falling, it just means that people are batting down the hatches. They're watching out for further downside to buy the dip. Now we see this stablecoin inflow with the price honestly kind of stagnant. It shows me that retail and larger investors at large that are outside of crypto are getting in and getting their bags of stablecoins together to buy effing dips. So I'm feeling damn good about it. Now I did see this DeFi rises again as Aave hits a new all-time high in weekly borrowers. This is huge because Aave has been a majorly strong performer over the last few weeks with this price pullback. Nick reminded me about how bullish we were on it when we were at $90. And Aave, I mean, we were feeling it for a long time, honestly, like a year and a half ago. It's ran from $55 up to $124 now. Over the last month when Nick's reminder came about, he honestly did it kind of in this trough here. When we were digging out of the trough, there's talks of all this rebranding, all of these different changes that were happening within Aave, which honestly proved very, very bullish for it. And as you can see, the performance has been spectacular. So awesome to see that the borrowing on Aave has increased. It's a great DeFi pick. And I do need to build out my DeFi bag a little bit. Aave, Curve are within that realm that I'm going to be buying first and foremost. I definitely think that DeFi is not done, and we're just seeing the bubblings come to the surface on how things are really, really going to rip in the future. And another one that I really feel good about is rolling out some exciting AI plugins here, but Flux. I think Flux is going to be a very, very sneaky pick this market, and I'm waiting there. There's the pullback I was looking. Remember this?
Yeah,
I was
remember
talking
that.
about the pump yesterday. I was like, I'm waiting for the chop. I'm practicing patience here. I'm trying to get this thing near the 50-cent range. Now we're back at 57 cents. Very nice. I like this. I think that I could still take a little bit more of a haircut off of this massive pump. This is just a very, very good sign of life for this project. It's a very deep project. $200 million market cap at 195, number 195 on coin market cap in terms of market cap size. And I think that Flux is going to be a very, very surprising and utility-driven blockchain that will find its home within helping AI infrastructure expand. So I'm looking at it. Where do we get it from? We go to the markets here. I want to check out all the different spots here. So I got all this Binance stuff. I don't use any of this stuff. Let's see here. It is, I think it's available on 2bit. I need to go back on my 2bit account and pick up some of this. So what I've been using 2bit for, I'm not logged into my account right now, but trading bots. I like using these trading bots and some of the AI signals within 2bit. And they have one of the few access points for Flux, which I know is deep down there on the list of, huge projects or, stuff like that. But I had a chance to talk to the founders of it. I believe they're just people that were really high up on the Flux team. talking about all of these amazing things they're doing with AI. I'm not partnered with them, but I can sense when someone's got shit figured out for this bull market. I got those vibes from them. So Flux is actually going to be I'm feeling like I need to make this about a 2 or 3% of my portfolio. So I do feel like I'm going to be moving in with some decent size on Flux because the price exploration really has not happened yet this bull market. And I do indeed think that AI is not done. Is it true that if you make trades with a bot, they are not taxable? No, that is not true.
That is not true.
That is not true. I don't know who said that. That's kind of crazy. That's not true.
That's kind of.
That would be too good to be true. I mean, that'd be. What are you gonna say?
You trade Magic the Gathering cards for cryptocurrency and then trade them back into Magic the Gathering cards. Is that taxable?
Is it?
Yes.
Well, there you go. There you go. And you actually make some money trading Magic the Gathering cards.
I don't make a lot of money trading. I make a lot of money playing. I don't like the function of the game that is like collecting and holding cards for sale, for example. But I'm also one of the thought leaders, especially in Lorcana.
You're a thought leader in there?
Yeah, like if I play a deck, then other people will play it. So if I just like put a card in there that is like seldom seen, it might go up.
Yeah.
So I have a little bit of a responsibility not to be kind of crazy.
Tommy Marin is saying something that I feel I need to make more robust too, is the gaming side of my portfolio. I only have AVAX right now.
I could put you on. I got
well, I want to get some good ones. Well, you got some gaming tokens in mind, Isaac?
Yes, there are two that come off the top of my head: GFAL, Games for a Living, and Miria.
Okay.
Those are very good plays. Very low market cap. For the gaming tokens, you can see a good 15, 20x out of those easily.
Okay, Miria. I've heard of Miria quite a bit too. Let me know in the chat too. What gaming tokens are you guys looking at? I don't play games, but I want to. Last market I saw some of these gaming projects just absolutely moon. I was not involved with any of them, but man, they ripped last bull market. And I don't think gaming's dead. It's just highly doubted right now. On the blockchain side, they have to figure out interoperability and high transaction throughput. Even Cardano, you were able to play Doom on Cardano, 5,000 transactions per second. This chain hard fork is on the low key. BJ is very, very excited about the increase in transactions per second for Cardano. They were playing Doom, the literal video game. And I remember when they did Doom on Bitcoin ordinals, it sucked. It was very slow. It was laggy. IMX might be a nice one. On a super sale right now. IMX is one that I've been. Where is IMX? Let's look at IMX's chart right now. Let's see it. I like this. We're swimming around the gaming sector. This is fun. So let's see here. Yeah. So we got full price reset. Love this. IMX, I mean, it's pretty well up there. It's number 46. Let's go to the all-time see. Oh, yeah.
Check out 1 month, though. He says it's super on sale right now, and I want to know if that's just a function of
I mean, that's a pretty reasonable floor that it's sitting at. You see, it's just bouncing and continually holding this $1.09. Like, this sell-off was, I think this is when there was a bunch of missiles going around, if I remember correctly. There was a lot of missiles, a lot of really bad macroeconomic and military news, right? So a lot of people got real scared on the macro. Oh no, and also the yen carry trade problem. The yen carry trade, that the Bank of Japan, with all their BS that they're doing in the background. They're just trying to hoist their dollar up so it doesn't die. IMX though, I've been patient enough and I've been watching this thing for a while. That's a nice price reset right there, folks. Okay, and it was the resistance level all through the accumulation. I mean, it punched up above it for a moment. But this $1.20 mark has actually been pretty historical for IMX. Interesting. What you got, Isaac?
George Martinez says, how about Illuvium? Illuvium is also a good project. It's at what, $42 right now?
Let me see this thing. Illuvium.
And what else? Yeah, its peak, I think, was around $73. So right now it's pretty down. But we are loving that chart, in my opinion.
I mean, it's definitely, from the last cycle, you can see it was hanging out around like 80, 90 bucks. This thing punched up to, holy shit, $1,800.
I was definitely wrong. It did not peak at $73. My bad.
Well, no, I mean, you're good because you're looking at kind of the shorter term here. And
I looked at the 1 month.
Recent it peaked to 140. Here's a real stress test though. Let's do how sick is it from inflation? A little bit of inflation sickness there. You see that, Isaac?
Yeah.
A little sick from inflation. That's a tough call. Circulating supply is half out now as well, so there's still half the supply to get out. So in this regard, I'm going to be looking at the token unlock schedule and really trying to understand in a more concise manner the token release schedule for this project. Very, very interesting to see. Now, another one that is showing good signs of life is DAG.
I do want to say I like the IMX. That was probably my favorite chart I've seen today.
You see some upside right there.
Yeah, low floor high floor, high ceiling type investment. I think.
Well, and that's health on a shelf. That's what I invented the term health on a shelf. And that's what I mean by it. It's where it's got that point where it won't break down below.
Yeah.
And you get like a macroeconomic chaos event that punches it down by like 20 cents below that level or whatever, but it recovers it quickly and then it continues to bounce on top. That's a good looking chart. Constellation up 4% on the day, 20% on the week. Hell yeah. This is another situation where 2 cents is essentially acting as the baseline for Constellation DAG. But DAG has a lot of really cool shit happening. This is from Stardust Collective. And, you know, I am very, very lucky to be working at the blockchain basement, partnered up with one of my favorite projects out there because of their proven projects that they're working on the U.S. Department of Defense. This is something that is going to be utilized by a government scale entity, unlocking secure information sharing for everyone. DoD vetted Iron Spider tech, and Project Iron Spider is the process that they've been going through with the Department of Defense and all of those massive updates. They also have connections with, and not connections, projects going on with the Navy, with the Air Force, with space communications. It's all over the place. It's a very interesting tech, and initially developed for the U.S. Department of Defense. Now it is available for public and enterprise use by leveraging metagraphs. Businesses can use unparalleled security, transparency, and data integrity across applications. HGTP is transforming how sensitive data is managed with public networks that offer cost efficiency and enhanced security. This is I got to get Dagnum back on the show. I'm going to go ahead and retweet this though, so everyone can do a deep dive in for themselves, because I know some major tokenomic changes have come to it, and I want to address those changes forefront. And I don't think that there is really any stopping the tech. But I was on the phone with BJ about Cardano. It's like the tech's going great. Tech go up. Price stays stagnant for Cardano. So sometimes you run into those situations where the tech's amazing and all of those things on the inside, but then the price excitedness has not come yet. Now, here's what got me extra excited this morning. A 1963 Daimler Ferret Mark 1/2.
Oh my God.
Look at this sexy bitch.
What is this, like a UAV?
No, I mean, it's
definitely not a UAV.
It's a 6-cylinder single man armored vehicle. Okay, so it's nothing too fancy. Okay, but it's only $16,000. Look at $16,700. That's a deal.
That's interesting. Does it run good?
Yeah, it runs. He turned it on and off and on and off a bunch of times. And really, I kind of feel like I need something like this. I told my wife I'm doing it. She got upset. She hung up the phone on me.
Yeah, what on earth would you do with this, Drew?
I would drive it to work. Okay, what's the deal? It's got wheels. It's fine.
I don't know if it's street legal. I would guess that it isn't because it looks like there's a big gun on the top.
Okay, listen. Here's the deal. And another thing is diesel. So I can just get my own diesel production. And that's another thing I was thinking about. How to create it, get a diesel one, get some diesel production. I can call up BJ. We can make this happen. My dad's a chemical engineer. We can make this happen. Aaron, I'm going to buy a tank. Okay. Aaron, I see you in the chat. Sign me, talking some trash. I'm going to make this happen. This is going to be the basement mobile. We're going to drive this thing around Vegas.
I don't know if I want to go to Vegas. I'm going next month.
Oh, it's Bitcoin Vegas next year.
Oh, next year?
Yeah. We got to do it.
I might see you there. I like going to Vegas.
I'll be out at the top of this thing. Can you imagine me just with a megaphone, just Bitcoin is the only way. You must move into the movement of 1776 and just start screaming at everyone.
Everyone in Vegas is trying to get rid of their money. They're not trying to invest.
And does he have more than one tank? No, I don't have any tanks. I've been driving around a minivan and I am so tired of driving around the minivan. I miss my FJ Cruiser. I had the FJ Cruiser all built out with that sick brush guard and all these cool things. I had to get the minivan because the babies can't get inside of, the FJ Cruiser, and all of my kids don't fit. Drew, just get the new Cybertruck and call it quits. I don't know about that Cybertruck.
Don't do that.
And this is this is a question, because it would be nice if there was an electric vehicle that was well made, but I also feel uncomfortable not knowing how to fix the electric vehicle on myself.
Also,
right? What's that?
I've heard they're very difficult to drive because they are so heavy. So
the Teslas are?
the Cybertrucks, yes.
If you want an electric vehicle that's well made, then you should look into getting a Rivian truck.
The Vengeance?
Yeah.
Oh, no, you're thinking of the Rivian electric vehicle. I'm
Yeah.
not going to, dude. They take too long to charge.
Take a while
I have
to
to
charge.
drive a long time to get to work. I almost live in Alabama. So, like,
Okay.
I drive a long ways, and it's not very, like, sure. I mean, do you live close to the office here?
I had to drive through Atlanta to get to work. It's an hour commute.
Well,
for
that's a
me every
nightmare.
day.
You would get crushed by an electric vehicle, too, doing that.
More or less. I don't know. As long as if there was a charging station here and one at home, that'd be perfect.
Well, potentially. Now, also, you just picked up a new 4Runner.
That's correct. I'm driving the 2004 Toyota 4Runner now, as opposed to the 98 4Runner, and it's great.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big step up. You had the 4-wheel drive 96, which is arguably one of the best make and models of Toyota out there.
That's correct. But I picked up a really well-maintained 4th gen Toyota 4Runner. It has just like a nicer interior, you know. But my girlfriend loves it.
You just called her your girlfriend.
I've made a conscious choice to not inflame your chat. Girlfriend loves it.
You're making my heart swell.
We're driving around. AC works great.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, the best AC I've ever sat in.
Well,
Toyota really does a good job with
My
that.
mom had the 96, the one that you traded in, and she had a 2003.
Wow.
So, I mean, you're living the dream. I love those vehicles. 4Runners are great.
I just
Absolutely
got
great.
a queen size mattress in there like 2 or 3 days ago. The whole thing fit in the interior of the vehicle, which I really love.
Okay.
Queen size mattress. Get it in there. Didn't have to worry about putting it on top of anything or it being exposed to the outside. We just got to drive it right into a house, basically.
I love it, man. Yeah, I mean, look at this engine. I could fix this engine. I feel comfortable fixing this engine. I went to school fixing engines like this. So, I just feel more comfortable for it. 2025 4Runner looks real good. Yeah, I mean, I'm a Toyota Maxi. I am a Toyota Maxi, but I do know how to work on old Chevys, old Fords, things like that, because my high school hated my guts. And they put me in a technical college when I was in high school to get me out of the high school itself, but to keep me on the books as a graduating member of the class.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of this weird thing where I would just like be shipped off to this tech school during the day, and then they would move me back to the high school at the end of the day, and then I would leave from the high school. It was a very, very backward situation.
Bureaucracy has always been sort of like the enemy.
Well, you know what did it? CSAPs. I called out how stupid the CSAPs were. And I absolutely shredded the principal in front of all the other kids, and they did not take too kindly to that. I've always had a pretty rebellious spirit in me,
Sounds like it.
Yeah. What a good day. It's chest day. We're going to go work out.
Indeed.
I appreciate every single one of you out in the chat for supporting us. I saw Crypto Man Sam with the super chat. What was the super chat? Is he talking about tanks?
Yeah, he was talking about the tank.
All right. Well, I need to get at least one tank. I don't have it. T-Shroom said I need 2 tanks, but I think that'd be a little much.
Is that like 2 dishwashers where like you don't even notice how nice it is to have 2 dishwashers until you have them?
Is it nice?
Yeah, because then what it does is you don't need any of your cabinet storage because you can just, one is like going to be clean dishes that just run dishwasher. And then when the dishes get dirty, you put them in the other dishwasher and then you run that and that becomes the clean one and you can just move them back and forth. So I've heard that a huge quality of life upgrade for like rich people is when they get the second dishwasher.
Really?
It's like it solves all their dish problems.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right. So we got close the BTC trade. Overwhelming majority says no. Fine. We're sending it. We're still in it here. My stop losses, regardless, in profit. Man, if this thing cooks, we're going to have some fun with this thing. I'll let you guys know how it goes, but showed you my thought process on that. We had the basically just some confluence. We had higher lows on the price, lower lows on the MACD, volume node right there just below it. So I felt pretty strong. The point of control feeling right there on the visible profile range. And I never like shorting in a bull trend. So I got to wait for the pullback to happen down to the level I'm watching, activate some patience, and then I pull the trigger. So I appreciate every single one of you out there in the chat. John Doe Richardson, VZ, Fat Cat, Adam Bomb, Betty, Crypto Manson, you absolute man savage, you. M. Vino, Green Day Prophets, Alexander G. Aaron Curry, Thigh Meat. I hope you're doing well, baby. Uncle Tinfoil and Word Sister down in the Rumble chat. How could anyone hate the Drew? That's so true. I appreciate you guys. Be kind to your neighbors. Be kind to the people on the other side. Get along with people if you can, because most people are pretty reasonable, I'd say, out there. And you know what? Before we wrap this up, we got to watch a video. You ready for this? This is going to be huge.
This is a tall bar video.
Someday, you will all die. It's gonna happen, maybe right now. I'm so high, and that's okay. Back in the day, I was locking folks up. So get out and go to prison. Do not listen to me, and do not be birds. And let me be clear, the sky is round, the earth is blue. Howard University, you.
I had to do it, man.
Credit to Tall Bart. His political videos are so funny. He does a lot of those. If you liked that, you're going to love his Twitter account. His name's Tall Bart. He hits both sides. Fair warning. I know that a lot of you snowflakes can't handle that.
Whoa.
He gets them both.
That's some high tea talk. Some high tea talk. All right, you guys. We're going to go bench press. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.